Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to our race at Knoxville Dragway. Starting in the second round, we'll take you all the way through the finals on this video here coming up. Proud to bring you this from Knoxville Dragway, sponsored by Summit, the World Speed Shop. Vintage Pine Flooring out of Beaufort, Georgia, our sponsor of this race this weekend.
I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Second round of Superstock going to be coming up, presented by Hoosier Race Tire, the official race tire of our Superstock division, making that specially prepared Southeast Gasser tire that they're all on here in our Superstock division. There's Mark Hackett, man, that is leading our points right now in the Mercury Poison. He's going to be taking on Houston Neese out of Aiken, South Carolina in the two-bit racing Chevy 2 that'll be over in the right lane. A couple of yellow cars, definitely a different look at it here, Mitch.
David, we've seen a lot of that Mr. Mercury Poison going there, Mark Hackett, this year. You know, buddy, he is leading the points, as you're saying, and just been a holy terror, and the two-bit racing team.
We had to take three motors and make one, and had 2 weeks to do it, so we put a lot of hours in. Was hoping to get some passes last night, and the rain caught us, so today we just kind of went for broke, you know, and it started out pretty decent. We tuned on it every round a little bit and just keep going from there. Hopefully we can hang in there.
All right, there you see James Beard out of Ripley, Tennessee in that 64 Biscayne, excuse me. He's going to be taking on Robert Peffley, our 2019 world champion. James Beard over in the left lane. If you might remember him, he ran the B-Gas car, the obsolete 2, Mitch, and moved into this Superstock car and has had some success.
The Superstock has been great to James and his dad. You know, it seems to be the class perfect fit for him right now. He's got last year's world champion in a rented car from his dad, Dallas, nonetheless. And who is it going to be, David?
Looks like it's going to be
James Beard. Superstock doing you pretty good. I'm getting to talk to you a whole lot here lately.
Yeah, man, I'm enjoying it. I can't believe the difference between running gas and Superstock. We are having a ball with it.
Speaking of having a ball, there's the hometown racer. Both these guys from Tennessee. Ripley, Tennessee, you see right there for Brian Olds. Dandridge, Tennessee is where Rick Cathcart calls home in that Falcon Futura that he's got right there, that little 63. Got a small motor in there. He's going for the lightweight application and doing pretty well as he won our Mooresville Dragway event earlier in the year.
David, Brian Olds is round number 1. If anybody's looking back, that thing starts rolling the smoke out down about half track. I don't know what's going on. He won round number 1, but he has got a race against a man right now, Rick, and there goes that smoke again. But Brian taking the win.
It's been a labor of love, definitely. I mean, and hate, you know.
Well, there'll always be some of both of those, but hey, we'll maybe get to talk to you in the third round. Come on back and see us again, brother.
So I'm going to try my best.
All right, we'll move right into C-Gas round number 2. Coming up, it's going to be presented by, again, Vintage Pine Flooring out of Beaufort, Georgia. And there you see the young blood, Josh Pruitt, in the 63 Ford Fairlane. He'll be in the left lane. Going to take on Bill Wilson out of Gaffney, South Carolina, in the Troublemaker, that 49 Studebaker.
Bill Wilson, the new management behind that Troublemaker over there. And I got to tell you, David, he's doing pretty good bringing some trouble to these races. He's made rounds. Understand he's got a new power plant in that thing, and it is showing. As I said, here it is, second round. He's still living. But, buddy, he's up against one tough hombre and one young gun. Quick draw on that tree, Mr. Josh Pruitt.
Bush's race engines under the hood right there for the young blood. And Billy knew it. He had to turn it thin on the tree, and he turns on the red light, giving that win to Josh Pruitt.
Well, you know, I seen a test or a qualifying run earlier where it was wheel stands up, second and third gear. I mean, looked like to me it's doing real well. Plus, I believe he was number 1 qualified.
Yeah, we was number 1. Went on a little wild ride. Wasn't expecting it, but she's running good now. As long as we can keep running the way it is, we'll be good.
Well, tell me, did it really feel good, though, even though?
Oh, it felt great.
That smile says it all for Josh Pruitt right there. And there he is, Tennessee Charlie, Charlie Lee Jr., he's in the left lane in that Mustang. Going to be taking on Tim Hall out of Abbeville, South Carolina in the 67 Rambler, the Scalding Dog.
This ought to be a good race, David. Both of these guys are capable. Both of them are fast. Rarely do they make mistakes. Let's see where it goes down to. I'm betting it's going to require a finish line to show the winner on this one.
Tim Hall wheels in the air as he leaves the race starting line. And look at this race right here. What a Southeast Gasser race that is. And it looks like
We made a pretty good adjustment that time. It actually finally run a pretty good number. I don't know. I couldn't read the time slip. I don't know how bad a job I did on the starting line. but the car ran better.
a couple of good-looking wagons right here, Mitch, on the line. The 62 Chevy 2 and a 66 Chevy 2. The 62 on this side is going to be the stud muffin that won the 2019 World Championship. Larry Floyd behind the wheel right there. Elizabeth Phillips backing him up. He's going to be taking on Mama's Pie Wagon, driven by Jeff Jones out of Montgomery, Indiana. Over there, that's 66.
Jeff been the wheelie king this weekend, but it bears note that Leslie Horn was driving the stud muffin last year as the championship in SEGA. Let's see Larry rolling the beam, handing it over to Jeff Jones.
That has got to be a tough one to take right there, but Jeff Jones will take it as he'll move on to round number 3.
Well, the first thing I want to do is thank the Lord Jesus that he's got us to this point. It is incredible what we've got going on, and we're just blessed.
Well, you know, I don't know if you're speaking of the Southeast Gassers Association or one way in and of itself, but Lord God blessed us in both of them without a doubt.
Yes, and we just so appreciate Clayne and you, Mitch, and everything that you guys have got going on, and just to be a part of this is just a thrill.
All right, there is George Miller going to be taking on Jimmy Huff coming up in the next two. Couple of Fords on the line right here. The Falcon Crazy driven by Miller, that you see right there, going to be taking on the
Hoopty Wagon,
Wagon.
David. How can we forget the old Hoopty Wagon, buddy? He's been with us for like 10 years now. Jimmy Huff behind the wheel, 2 strong Fords, but I believe Mr. Huff may be outpowered on this one.
Yeah, that one-way technology horsepower under the hood Ford.
George, buddy, you've done win and put old Mr. Ford himself, Jimmy Huff, on the trailer. Man, you guys are just a holy terror.
Yeah, we hate to put another Ford on the trailer, but we made it on through the second round, and it looks like we got to buy for the next round.
And there is Cynthia Phillips in the right lane in the Flower Power, that 56 Chevy. She's going to be taking on Todd Oden, our 2017 world champion there in that 58 Delray.
David, you know, I always refer to Todd Oden as King Kong, and I still say he's that. So Cynthia, obviously a nice-looking lady. This is the Beauty and the Beast right here, and Cynthia welding him to the tree.
And that might be more than he can overtake, and it is as Cynthia Phillips gets a big round win here, moving to round 3.
Cynthia Phillips, I have to say congratulations are in order. You beat Mr. King Kong Todd Oden, the face of Seagas, on a hole shot nonetheless.
I beat him on both ends, I think.
Well, what a wonderful news is that. Only thing David's telling me, you strapped it on him on the starting line. If you beat him out the back door, Flower Power has just been fertilized.
Oh, my God. No, I ain't believing this. Tom's gonna die.
You better believe it. You better go get ready for third round. This could be a date to the final.
Big-ass second round being brought to you by Molly Motorsports right here. And in Knoxville Dragway, we got a homegrown guy driving a homegrown car. That is Zach Hall out of Bluntville, Tennessee. And there you see him with a good smoky dig, getting those Hoosiers good and hot. He's going to be taking on Kevin Burt in the second coming. Burt's only been with us a couple of races, but he has been around the Southeast Gassers a good bit putting his car together, Mitch.
David, you're talking about Burt's second race. If I'm not mistaken, Knoxville was the first time that Zach raced with us many years ago, and buddy, he has been dedicated.
That was a pretty good piece. He had a little performance advantage on me on that piece, but he was actually a little bit faster qualifying too, but I had about a 3/10 hole shot. So,
hey, as we've said before, that's how you win a drag race.
Hopefully, we'll see you again. I got Wayne Swafford or Dirtman next round, so I hope it's Dirtman. Nothing against Wayne. I love Wayne, but
everybody's beatable, son.
Wayne's feist, but he's number 1 qualifier. I guess if you're gonna beat somebody, that's the guy you want to beat.
Take out the big man.
There's the Patriot, Daniel Haynes, out of Holly Springs, South Carolina, and that beautiful Falcon with his wife Mary Beth right out front backing him up. Going to be taking on Gordon Rundle out of Speedway, Indiana in the second coming.
David, you know, Daniel has just been doing a really great job driving his car. I get to watch these races over and over doing his editing. And, buddy, just like right here, quick on the tree, a good smooth driver, produces round wins all the time.
Sure does. We've been doing a great
We sure
job.
like to see Fords in the winner's circle. We just want to put this one in the winner's circle one time. We'll be getting somewhere.
I keep waiting.
I keep waiting too. Hopefully we'll see y'all next round.
Todd Blackwell right there going to be driving the Smoking Sam number 2 qualifier. Going to get a bye.
They seem to be enjoying taking care of the cars back there, keeping the air pressure and everything, gas fueled up, batteries charged and everything. So, hey, I'm enjoying it. We're having fun making rounds at a time.
So you just kind of like maybe John Force or something. You just go in the motorhome, car's ready, you come back in.
Not quite.
He may not be John Force, but he is a past world champion in B-Gas. And speaking of world champions, there's a 2-time world champion, Tim Bailey. Want to welcome him back. One of his first time out this year as he's been taking care of his ailing parents. And we're glad to have Tim in that 57 Corvette, that Alley Cat 2, back out here in competition. He's going to be taking on the 17-year-old Colby Welch out of Warsaw, Illinois, and that is going to be a tall order as Welch has done real well this year.
He has, David. Welch and his family has got that machine flying, but, buddy, are they up against a champion, Tim Bailey, a 2-time champion and a multi-race winner. This is going to be a good drag race, but it looks to me like Colby not only moving around, but he is taking the lead. Getting awful close to the center line.
Rather unfortunately, they're saying up there in the tower that you did, in fact, cross the center line, putting Tim Bailey back in the win. Tough break, brother. I hate to see that for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sometimes luck just has to be on your side, and I don't know if you call this luck or good fate or what, but Colby Welch crossing the center line could be bad, but fortunately nobody made contact.
Well, I'm just glad nobody's hurt, but that was a big surprise to me, but I knew he had a very strong car, and I hate to see that for him because, you know, I said when we started up there, he had a misfortune on his last pass and didn't have a good time, but he won. But I said he needs a confidence builder. I don't want to be that guy, but he still needs a confidence builder. But
well, nonetheless, you're going to the third round, my friend Tim. Maybe we'll talk to you after that one again.
I appreciate it. We'll see if we can do that.
All right, the Atomic Hillbilly out of Oliver Springs, Tennessee, another one of our Tennessee contingent. That is Todd Napier right there, as you get a good look into this cockpit and see what he's going through as he gets ready to stage up that race car.
Todd Napier, one of our most colorful guys on the circuit, David. I don't care what's going on. I have never found Todd in a bad mood. Always a smile on his face and willing to play a joke. Just as a good guy. He's a tough racer, yet to make a solid win with the SEGA, but he has plenty times been in the latter rounds, and boy, or is this a launch for a setup drag race right here, brother.
The Freebird Jerry Birch in the opposite lane of him, and he's got a tall order to take out the Freebird. But the Freebird's going to fly.
Beating on them points, brother.
We trying, man. We trying, Mitch. We just got a lot of adjusting going on. It was dancing out there. I don't know the dew's coming down or what. So we're just going to give it our best shot.
You know, you know what I always say, everybody races on the same racetrack.
That's right. That's right.
Well, this ain't you boys ain't no stranger to this. You'll be fine. We'll look for you in the third round.
Appreciate it.
All right, and there's that matchup that Zach Hall was talking about. The Dirt Man, Rick Varner out of Kannapolis, North Carolina, being backed up by his daughter Savannah, and Wayne Swafford out of Fingerville, South Carolina, being backed up by Elizabeth Phillips. He'll be over in the right lane. Wayne Swafford, our number 1 qualifier, got that Fulton horsepower underneath the hood. And there you see Chris Allison wiping off the windshield for Varner. Staley race engines under the hood for Rick Varner.
David, you know, as you see these guys talking about, like Jerry talking about the moisture on the racetrack, it's getting late, it's cooling down, the moisture in the air is getting squeezed out. That's what's falling on these race cars. It's wet on the racetrack. You can see it in the air above the lights there. This is a dangerous race, but it's a drag race nonetheless, and as they say, the show must go on. No traction problems for the Dirt Man, but it does send him to the center line. Swafford is gone.
That power sent him to the center line, and Wayne
Swafford, the old
away.
Dirt Man, ain't got nothing on you. In fact, I don't think anybody's got anything on you today.
I still think the driver can improve, but hey, sort of new at this, you know.
Well, as long as Leroy takes up the slack, then so be it.
Hey, when the driver's slack, you got to have a fast race car.
Speaking of a fast race car, there's another one, Ray Fossil, another one of these hometown guys out of Dandridge, Tennessee, in the Bustin' Loose. And what a beautiful Barracuda that is that Ray Fossil has put together. Actually, twice he's put that together. There you see GOB on the side, Purple Heart tattoo, and Speed and Culture magazine helping him pay the bills and get up and down the road with this Southeast Gasser tour.
David, I don't know if Ray's wife helped him build his car or not, but I know she helped him build a really unique old camper. But Ray going red on that one and handing it over to the current points leader in Mr. TJ York.
Continuing to defend that points lead that you've got, and Lord son, these races are getting less and less. We've passed the halfway season. Now's the time to protect it.
It's going to be tough, man. We got there are a lot of good cars running in B right now, and there are a lot of guys driving well. And it's B class. This is tough. You know, they say the A's are the kings, but I'm telling you what, us B boys are giving a run for their money.
You know, there's no question. The A gas may be the kings in speed, but B gas is the kings in competition. No question about it.
We're giving it all. We're going to see what we can do.
All right, and speaking of the kings of the sport, here they come around the corner for second round of A-Gas Summit, the World Speed Shop, bringing you this round action. First up, that's going to be Kenneth Phillips, our 2019 world champion. He'll be over in the right lane in that Silver Streak 2, the 58 Corvette, taking on Ben Christopher in his car that has been newly built for this year. He's got Par race engines under the hood, and he's going to be taking on a Fulton motor in the other lane with the small block of Kenneth Phillips.
Also got on a cool-looking gold metal flake helmet with moon eyes. They are gone. Kenneth Phillips out front. I don't know what happened to Ben, but
it is great to see you in the second round. A-Gas, how's it doing for you this evening?
Well, it feels a whole lot better, and it's picking up every round, and that's what I'm needing.
That's what I call positive progress, brother.
Hey, some fast cars. You don't get no slow ones no more.
Speed up. It seems like the competition speeds up right with you.
Yeah. I went 4 years pretty good there. I was pretty fast, but now I ain't really fast no more.
That's why they call it drag racing.
Hey, that's right.
And speaking of a fast car, there's another Fulton car right there, the Chick Magnet of Leslie Horn. He's going to just take the tree and take it
Yeah,
easy
if we get the
drive.
driver straightened out, there's a few little bugs I got to get worked out of the old muffin. I mean, not just a muffin. No, it's Chick Magnet. I know Chick Magnet here. We'll be good. We'll be there.
You know, that's a problem when you own too many race cars.
Yeah, I know. That is a problem.
There is the man leading the points right now. That is Steve Davis in that Speedy 2 car. He'll be over in the right lane. He's going to be taking on Todd Blackwell, pulling double duty in B and A. And Todd back behind the wheel of his familiar slingshot car. There you see that 66 Nova right there.
That's why I was asking him earlier, David, if he was like John Force. You know, he's like a driver for hire out here.
Driver for hire. There you see his wife Mandy bringing him up to the beams, and Sharon Davis bringing up her husband Steve to the beams and getting them ready to go. Blackwell last the stage, first off the line. Let's see if he's got enough to hold on and put Spinny on the trailer.
David, I believe Spinny crossed the line there, but it don't matter because Todd Blackwell showed him the way to the finish line.
I know you working double duty today, Todd, but you got to talk to me on this one, taking out the points leader, Steve Davis.
Well, that's what everybody was wanting me to do.
I bet you're right. You're going to receive so many Christmas cards this year, you ain't even going to be able to count them all.
Well, it not only helps him, it helps me a little bit too, because I'm tied for fourth in the points, so that didn't do nothing but help us out a little bit.
I think this two-car thing is really benefiting you.
Hey, it keeps the practice up.
There's a man that don't need a lot of practice. There's Gabriel Burl in that Southern Flyer, and that car has really been on a tear lately with that new motor combination that he has put in. He's going to be facing Barry Lynn in the Little Red Wagon. The 31 Model A, there's a good look at it as he comes out of the water box. There's Barry Lynn with the Par race engines under the hood. Gabriel Burl, on the other hand, has a Ford built by John Kazi underneath the hood right there of the Southern Flyer.
And has that Kazi name made a difference for Gabriel and those guys over there that are funding this program? David, I got to tell you, the breast cancer research, all of these things that's going on, that's a part of this car and a part of the reasons why Robbie Bird has stepped up to bring money into this thing, is to also bring awareness to the breast cancer awareness. But here it is right now, Gabriel Burrow in a very tight race, but he does take it out.
Gabriel.
Well, all I can say right now is John Causey horsepower is on full display, brother.
Oh yeah, it's got power. It strolled on by him. I let him leave on me 500. So he flickered the tree and it got to me. I just lost it for a second. I saw him leave. I said, "Oh no!" But it strolled by him on high gear. They're pretty good.
That's what I said. John Causey horsepower on full display.
Yeah, John got us to that round.
And Mitch, you were able to catch up earlier in the day with Robbie Bird, one of his sponsors.
Feeling rather proud that you've brought such a level of competition to Gabriel's years-long efforts.
Well, that little boy works harder than anybody I've ever seen, and I always appreciate anybody, whatever they do. I don't care if it's a ballet dancer or a MMA fighter. If they do it well, I'm on their team, and that little boy works as hard as anybody ever saw. We wanted to bring awareness to breast cancer. My wife had breast cancer, and I thought we'll get in this Southeast Gasser thing. We'll paint the car up. We can make it win. We want to work some kind of way to get donations for breast cancer research through SEGA. Don't know how that's going to work. First, we got to make the car win. So it won once. We still working. We got some things wrong with it today we can't fix, but we qualified number 2, and he shut it off 80 feet from the line. So I feel like we got a good chance if it'll go straight. So I'm proud of him. I didn't know him before I met him through a buddy of mine, but his family's nice. They're wonderful people. They're good Christian people. I love Jesus. I like to see people that do the right thing. And this whole organization, we pray before we race. I don't run into nobody that ain't got a good heart. So I just love the whole thing. So putting money here is, I think, the best thing I could do, except for St. Jude's Children's Home. So we go there too.
Well, and thank you for doing that. I donate to them myself.
Love them.
And, but as I said, Robbie, you guys have came in with you tried various different means of making the old Ford run, but you were dedicated to staying true. And nothing could have been better for Gabriel and his family, because Lord knows they love the Fords. But finally you found your way to John Causey, and boy, what a difference.
John Causey seems to be the man, and I like the fact that he's a little bit hard to access, but once you do, he's like a good doctor. He's got plenty of time for you, and he's little by little solving our problems.
I think that may be an understatement. Good talking with you, Robbie, and congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Moving into SEGA with our balance round by having 19 cars here and entered. We could require 5 rounds, and we like to call this the balance round to get everything balanced out for our semifinals and finals. And there you see the man with a bye. You heard him talk about it a little bit earlier, George Miller.
Getting a traction bite right there, David. Wheel standing high, wanting to know what the car's going to do. And here comes Cynthia Phillips in the Flower Power.
Cynthia's going to be taking on Jeff Jones in the Mama's Pie Wagon out of One Way Technologies. Cynthia able to have some fans right here on the line, and Doug Trenholm able to catch up to a few of them and ask them a few questions about their favorite driver.
Who's going to win again?
I think Flower Power. Flower Power.
Why?
Because she's like awesome. It's
Oh, really?
It's really cool that a girl.
You ever met her?
Yeah, we actually took a picture.
Do you?
Yeah, we both have
Cool.
pictures with her.
Cool.
Those were some excited little girls, David. I think Cynthia may have just inspired them girls a little bit. And Pam Burrow pulling Cynthia into the lines, David. And here we're getting ready to go. Jeff Jones, buddy, he's got a job to do. He's leaving first, wheels up.
What a lead right there, but what a great action time by both drivers, and Cynthia Phillips moving on into Flower Power to round number 4.
That was a tight one, David, I gotta tell you.
Cynthia Phillips, this is absolutely a Cinderella story. Not your first time to the finals, however, but you have made it to the finals in such a convincing fashion tonight. I do believe that a victory is in sight.
Well, I hope you're right. I've been running good today. Probably my best ever, so I'm really excited about that.
What'd you do, go to like some Quainstadt drag racing school or something?
You would call it that.
We'll look for you in the next round on that bye run nonetheless.
Thank you.
A 28-year veteran of the Quainstadt Driving School as well. And there is the next two competitors up, the young blood Josh Pruitt out of Inman, South Carolina, and Abbeville's very own Tim Hall in the Scalded Dog Rambler. And there you see his dad George bringing him up to the line, getting him ready to go in his 67 Rambler.
David, you know Tim and his dad George, they make what you call a formidable pair, do they not?
They really do, and throw their brother, his brother and George's other son in there, and they make quite the combination. They got a three-headed monster over there. And Tim Hall, wheels in the air, first 2 gears. Look at this drag race.
Not enough to catch Josh Pruitt. Is that team on a
tear? It's been a long, hard, rough season. Like I said last race, feel like we take step forward, 3 steps back, but this car's running good, and I got to thank my uncle, my dad, all my family, Dwayne Bush. They've got a good combination going on this weekend.
I think you're exactly right, brother. You know, you've got one more round to overtake to get into the finals, but so what I've seen so far with your driving prowess, we should be talking to you in the next round.
Lord willing, I hope so.
And there is Tim Bailey in the Alley Cat 2, who's back in this race, you know, by virtue of that center line cross by Colby Welch. And he gets the Patriot, none other than Daniel Haynes. And that is not going to be an easy one either, as Daniel Haynes has really been chopping this tree down in the last few races.
Daniel, I got to tell you, from the numbers and that right now, the favor is to Daniel, but let's see if the experience of Tim Bailey can pull it off. Not a chance. Daniel streaking away.
And there you see Mary Beth, his wife. Man, she is excited, and look at that outfit
she couldn't
she has
believe
on.
it either, could she?
She is patriotic as well. As we move into our balance round for B-Gas, we got 25 entries here today at Knoxville Dragway, thus putting us into that situation. And there is the man right now in B-Gas. That is TJ York, and he's going to take on Todd Blackwell, who's driving that Smoking Sam this weekend for his dad, Mike. This is going to be a good race. Car race engine under the hood for him. Former B-Gas world champion. Can he put some magic on and take out the Greenhorn Hillbilly? No, he cannot, as the Greenhorn Hillbilly marches on. Good win right there.
TJ York, unfortunately, there is so many cars in B-Gas. Otherwise, I'd be talking to you about going into the finals, but it's just the semifinals. You guys are being waved past the scales because of a time crunch. Good job. We'll look for you in the next round.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much.
And there is the Cox race engine under the hood of the Homegrown, driven by Zach Hall out of Blunkville, Tennessee. We talked to Hall earlier, and you heard him say, you know, he knew he was going to be in some tough competition, and there's Wayne Swafford with that car he calls Leroy.
He got the toughest of the tough competition right there. Number 1 qualifier, David, Zach Hall. If he's ever pulled one out, and he has taken down some giants in the past, buddy, he better do it again.
Giving him a good run on the starting line, but Leroy, too much of that Fulton horsepower right there in that right lane, and he marches on.
Brother Byron for the Freebird right here, simply because of this odd number of cars, David. Jerry Birch getting a free ride in this round as well.
And we move right on into Superstock round number 3, again presented by Hoosier. And there's James Beard out of Ripley, Tennessee. His dad, Dan Beard, got James into racing. And he's another formidable father-son team that we've got here in the Superstock category, racing their good friend and neighbor, Brian Olds, and they squeaking out the win from Olds.
First time finals for you in the Southeast Gassers Association. This has got to be a pretty good sense of accomplishment.
Hey, man, this is great. My best friend running him, hate to put him out, don't mind putting him out a bit, you know what I mean? Hate it for him. We're having a great time, and take this thing to final. We got a rough one next round. We got to hack it, but
you know, all kings must fall.
That's right, and I think it's his time to go down for somebody else.
We'll just wait down here and see who we get to talk.
Hey, we'll be back in a little bit. Thank you, Mick.
All right, and speaking of Mark Hackett, there is the competition single for Mark Hackett, as his competitor unable to make the call. Mark Hackett going to run it through and try to get lane choice over James Beard. Don't know if
something tells me there's more than 271 horsepower in this particular Mercury.
There might be 300.
Well, that is the most potent 300 horsepower I've ever seen. Mark, good job, buddy. You're going into the finals, maintaining on that points lead. You know, this has just turned into a good day. As bad as the last race was, talk about a comeback.
It is. I mean, it just shows whether if it's us or anybody else. If you work hard and you want something bad enough, then you can get it. You know, just keep working hard. That's all there is to it.
You got it, brother. Hard work never fails to pay.
That's right. Thank you, Mitch.
All right, SEGA rolling right into round number 3. Bringing you the action here. Knoxville Dragway again is where we are. Vintage Pine Flooring out of Buford, Georgia, bringing us the action as a race sponsor here. And we got 2 of the young guns, guys under 30 years old. That's Josh Pruitt, the 23-year-old out of Inman, South Carolina, going to be in the left lane. And George Miller out of Montgomery, Indiana, going to be over there in the right lane in the Falcon Crazy. Couple of Fords on the line here, Mitch.
It is, David, and George Miller has won some races recent. That Josh has been denied them for over a year. Who is it going to be? I tell you, Josh, I believe is, yes, there he goes, pulling it away. That little Ford is flying this weekend.
It sure is. Great
Josh Pruitt, welcome back to the finals, my friend. It has been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Hopefully we can finish out on top. We got Cynthia, and man, she has been killing it. So I'm a little worried, I ain't gonna lie. That girl was fast.
And speaking of Cynthia Phillips, there's Par Race engines right there on the side of that Flower Power 56 Chevy.
She gets to take that bye run we were talking about earlier, David. All she needs to do here is try to perfect this run so that she can get some data for that tough final round against Josh Pruitt.
Listen to those shifts. Cynthia Phillips, the most improved driver by far out here over the last 2 years.
Cynthia Phillips, it was a bye run. I'm guessing it run pretty good. You seem to have a little bit of a smile on your face.
I don't know.
You don't know. Well, maybe it just felt good. There you go. Now it tells me it ran good. So with that added to it, you've got the #1 qualifier going into the finals. I got to tell you, he's worried about you. I told him you were probably worried about him, Josh, as well, Josh Pruitt.
Yeah, I'm very worried about him because I've never beat him. Never.
Sounds like this is a good day to start a new beginning.
That'd be wonderful.
All right, moving right into B-Gas round number 3, again presented to us today here at Knoxville Dragway by Molly Motorsports. There you saw Daniel Haynes. He gets the chance in the Patriot to try to chop down Leroy. The #1 qualifier, Wayne Swafford out of Fingerville, South Carolina. These 2 guys literally neighbors, living less than 15 minutes apart from each other as they're here in Knoxville Dragway trying to see who's going to make it to the finals.
David, they may be 15 minutes apart at home. They are less than about 1 second apart on this racetrack split width here. And I tell you, talk about rubbing shoulders, rubbing elbows at 100 and something miles an hour. This dance is on, and Daniel is out. Can he hold off that Chevrolet?
Don't think that's going to be possible as that big Fulton horsepower pulls.
You just got to do what you got to do to win one of these B-Gas category drag races.
Yes, sir. I owed Daniel that one. He got me at the last race in Ohio. Daniel's a good guy, good competitor. We all friends here till we get out there between that starting point and that finishing point. But
spoken like a true winner, and that is the truth there in Southeast Gassers. TJ York coming up next, going to be over there in the right lane, a guy who has had a stranglehold on this B-Gas category this year, and he's going to get the Birch brothers right there. There you see Joey Birch out in front of the car, driven by his brother Jerry out of Roebuck, South Carolina. These guys have won over 14 races in Southeast Gasser history, and they got a big one coming up right here. They'd like to move to the finals here.
You'll notice 2 completely different racing driving styles here. TJ doing a long, high RPM burnout. Joey and Jerry much more conservative, short, low RPM. You know, David, it all depends on the setup of the car or what you're after. There's not really a right or wrong way. That can be, obviously it can be done wrong if maybe you misjudged the reason why you chose your method. But the point is, these 2 guys have been battling it out since race #1 this year, and it is a year-long battle, and here it is. Jerry yet to beat TJ, and David, I don't believe he's going to do it this time either.
Had a good start, but there's too much horsepower out of that Greenhorn Hillbilly.
Tunnel vision, man.
I got it, buddy.
Tunnel vision.
I got it. TJ York, buddy, I tell you, one of these days, Jerry Birch is going to do something awful and wicked to you. He has to, because he's got to be tired of losing.
I'm telling you guys, it's I've beat them a few times, but their class act, they're the top of it. I mean, you don't get no better than the Birch brothers. That when you beat them, it's an honor. I mean, even when you race them, they're just they're tough, man. You got to be on your game.
Well, that's my point, TJ. Jerry and Joey seem to be able to take out anybody for the most part any given day, but this year you have just been their kryptonite.
Yeah, they're going to get me. They're going to get me.
He knows it's coming, and coming up next is A-Gas, round number 3 right here. And there is the slingshot. Todd Blackwell had a good run last time, but he's got that 58 Corvette of Kenneth Phillips, our defending world champion, over there in the right lane.
And David, you are correct. That is the 2019 A-Gas World Champion Kenneth Phillips taking on 2017's B-Gas World Champion Todd Blackwell, obviously moving up to A-Gas, but as we've noted, doing double duty today, driving his dad Mike's B-Gas car. So I tell you, Kenneth Phillips needs this win because Kenneth is in the range of taking the championship again in 2020, thus being the Southeast Gassers Association first driver to win 2 back-to-back championships. We've had drivers win multiple championships, but never a back-to-back. Let's see how this one goes down. Kenneth needs it worse than Todd.
Good lead by both drivers. We got a heck of a drag race right here, Mitch. Who's it going to be on the big end? Kenneth Phillips takes it with that.
This is like 2 or 3 times in a row, man. I mean, and not only that, but you're kicking your neighbor.
Yeah, well, it had to be one of us. Boy, I sure am glad. I've been needing to win, and now I got one more round, and dang if Gabe ain't done picked up, so I really, you just can't get an easy run no more.
Yeah, Gabe is picked up, and Gabe is hungry. You better believe that.
You got that right, yeah.
Well, all I can say is good luck to both of you, because you know I love you both.
All right, thank you.
All right, and next up, there's the chick magnet of Leslie Horn here in the left lane. Leslie getting those hides good and smoky. And
David, I'm wondering if Kenneth had some premonition here because he seemed pretty confident Gabriel was going to beat Leslie. I don't know what's going to come here based on that fact, but the point of it is he was pretty sure he was going to have Gabriel.
I think he is already planning on that as Burl in the Southern Flyer will be over in the right lane. And this is a classic matchup of big-time motor builders, Fulton in the Chick Magnet and John Causey in the Southern Flyer.
I tell you, if Leslie's going to outrun him, he better be on kill. That ain't going to happen. Leslie looking like he is starting off in high gear.
Yeah, looks like something happened there, but didn't have a problem.
You know, Gabriel, this old car's going to mess around and come as famous as Bonnie and Clyde. You know, this thing has got that cool look out there, and now that it's got that Causey horsepower, and you've done one race with it, going to the finals in another, I just got to wonder, what are you going to say this time?
I hope I can do better than I did last time. I went completely brain dead. I'm just tickled to get by that round as number 1 qualifier, so.
No doubt about it, but you got Kenneth Phillips coming up, and he obviously ain't no slouch.
He's not, so we'll see what happens here.
We'll be waiting on you.
Brother, I didn't have nothing but second gear. I had to. That's all I could do.
I knew you would probably hurt, but I didn't think you would hurt that bad.
Yeah, I had
David, there's Leslie Horn coming up, giving Gabriel a congratulatory win on that one. As he was explaining, his transmission was broke. He started off in second gear, not high gear, as I was called.
Yeah, and that does put a bad effect on it. Here's our
AFX. You got it, David. Not to overstep you, but AFX, you know, this class is really unique, and it has got so much history in drag racing, and so many Hall of Famers and things like that are represented in the Hall of Drag Racing. And certainly Houston Platt, Rocky's dad, is one of those guys.
Todd Wimberly's going to be his opponent in that Southern Comfort Falcon here, and it looks like.
But brother, every time I go on this track, thinking of my daddy.
Well, you know, your dad had a great presence on this particular racetrack, and you know, for you to do that, to have this car out here, I'm sure that he's saying, good job, son.
I'm sure he is, and I'm proud just to be here, Mitch. Proud to be with Southeast Gassers and a part of it, and proud to drive this race car.
Well, son, we'll look for you in the winner's circle.
Thank you, sir. Trying to promote the AFX, and then when Alan gets back, we'll have more AFX cars, and the history between he and I and Uncle Hubert in Houston. It just makes it fun. And you had Robert Frazier and Todd. Todd had a great weekend, and it's fun because he's running competitive now.
Yeah, Todd Wimberly really doing a good job of stepping up that program. Now, I got to ask you, where would you be without this Lamar Walden horsepower underneath the hood?
Rob Walden, I grew up with his daddy, grew up with him, and that's special to have one of his engines in here.
Yeah, if the people don't understand the tradition of Mr. Lamar Walden, your dad, Hubert, your uncle, I mean, this thing plays into so many different levels that touches probably 20 different Hall of Famers.
Yeah, that's the history of Lamar Walden, Houston Platt, and Hubert Platt. It's many Hall of Fames, and that's what's so cool about what we're doing. And I enjoy doing it. It's not about me, not about Rob. It's about what we do to represent our dads.
All right, moving into the Superstock Finals. If you hear those remarks from Rocky Platt, Hoosier, again, the presenting sponsor of our Superstock category with those specially prepared Hoosier racing slicks that are on the back of every one of our Superstock cars. There is James Beard. He'll be from Ripley, Tennessee, over on the left side, and he's taking on another Tennessee runner from Lebanon, Tennessee, Mark Hackett, there in that beautiful Mercury Comet Caliente.
David, you would think that this race was Tennessee competitors only, but that's not the case. It's just fortunately that Tennessee is one of the states, and buddy, I'm here to tell you, they have come out with some stiff competition. 2 Tennesseans in the finals of Superstock, and they ain't a class no tougher, but I tell you, I do believe the Ford is going to take it through.
The Ford does pull it through in front of a lot of people who's staying around here.
All right, Mark Hackett, congratulations on, what is this, win number 3 this year?
3 this year, yes.
3 out of 6 already this year, and a further advancement on your points lead.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just been up and down in the points. We get a little bit of luck, and then we have really bad luck, and then this weekend, we've had some good luck, and so it's just, and I guess that's how it's supposed to be. It shouldn't be easy. It should be hard work all year long, and everybody working to try to win that big prize at the end of the year, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, I know you're dead after it. Last year you had, I think, 5 wins last year, didn't you? Or 6. You had 6 wins last year. Yeah. So this makes 9 total for you in the last 2 years. And you come up just a point or 2 short on the championship last year. So I don't see anybody really, if you can go some more rounds and not go out early, I don't see anybody catching you.
We just got to not have any breakage and drive the car smart and have a little bit of luck here and there, and I think we'll be okay. But there's a lot of tough guys out there, and they want it too, and so we're going to give them everything we can.
There's no doubt about that. Now, we talked in the pre-race right here about all your friends who helped you. I got to ask you, when you said you had to take Miss Rhonda out to a nice dinner, I got to think, that had to set you back a minute or two. What'd she have on the menu?
You know what? I can't remember exactly what she did have that night, but it was a pretty nice dinner, And I got to thank her. I mean, I come home from work every day, eat a bologna sandwich, and head straight to the shop, and work till way after bedtime to get this thing back this week. And she never complained 1 minute. And, we get back in the motorhome and head back out here and do it again. So, yeah, just worked out good this weekend.
No doubt she's your biggest fan. I see her right there making pictures and videos for you all the time. You're a great combination. Yeah. Mark and Rhonda Hackett winning here again at Knoxville Dragway. Congratulations.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
All right, SEGA next up on the docket, presented for us here by Vintage Pine Flooring out of Beaufort, Georgia. Josh Pruitt, man, he's been dominant all day. Gets a chance to take on someone that I don't want to call the underdog, but the flower power in Cynthia Phillips. She's been on the cusp of breaking through so many times. Will tonight be the night?
David, you can see them young ladies on the side of the racetrack over there rooting and tooting for Cynthia that Doug had spoken to earlier. Yes, no doubt. Here you got a situation where Josh has won before. Granted, it's been a year. He's been denied. Cynthia never making a win. She's been to the finals once or twice before. But could this be the day? Could this be the night when Cynthia Phillips finally wins? And not only Cynthia Phillips, but a woman finally puts a win in the Southeast Gassers Association. Only about 6 or 7 seconds here to tell the story, David. How is it going to go down? Nobody knows. They're taking their time staging some tricks. Cynthia going red.
Yeah, she was very, very ready for this one, and she wanted to do well. Just a little too easy.
Josh Pruitt, the young blood man, back in victory lane in 2020. How does that feel?
Feels good. It's been a very, very long time, and this has been a very hard season for us. But car ran good today, so thanks to my family, Jesus Christ. You got to thank Him first. But just very thankful to be here.
Well, I know that you've been working, and I know your dad and Billy been working on this car tirelessly trying to get the performance up on it, and it seems like you guys have exceeded where you thought you might need to be.
Oh yeah, some of the times today we was very shocked with the times, but I ain't gonna complain. But they've done a great job. I've kind of been watching them, but they do a great job.
Well, it makes it easy to get in a car that's running good and have some fun doing it. And you were tearing the tree down today too against some good competition.
Yeah, you got to get that little advantage when you run against these guys. These ain't no slouch, but you got to get every advantage you can.
Buddy, I don't know what that does for you in the points, but it's got to do tons for your morale and point you in the right direction.
I'll worry about the points later. I'm more excited about that right there.
Well, you have done it today. You have climbed this mountain here in SEGA 5 rounds, and you come out the champion. Josh Pruitt here, Knoxville, Tennessee, 2020.
All right, now speaking of another 5 rounds worth of competition, we've had it in B-Gas as well, which had 25 entries today. Molly Motorsports helping bring you our B-Gas sponsorship, and there is the Greenhorn Hillbilly of TJ York. With, like Mitch said before, those high winding, big RPM burnouts, trying to get those Hoosier slicks up to the right temperature, and he's got a big task on his hands if he's going to take out the #1 qualifier, and that is Wayne Swafford. These two guys represent every win in B-Gas to this point this year.
That is an amazing fact, David, but I love this burnout backup staging. It is one of the most suspenseful parts in all of racing and drag racing. I tell you what, there you see him going red.
TJ York, buddy, I have to say you have overcome overwhelming obstacles this weekend in this drag race up here. You have won 4 of 6 SEGA races this year. TJ York, brother, you and team have arrived. Congratulations, another win in Knoxville, Tennessee.
I appreciate it. I mean, like you just said, it's a team effort. I mean, I got to see a PR crew, everybody helping me out. We started off rough. I qualified like crap. About hit the wall twice in qualifying. I won't leave the thing alone. I go home, I work on it all the time, then I come track, I mess up, then I got to go back the other way. But we're just, the good Lord and Joanne Slagle's looking over me, and it's just, they're helping me out. I just can't ask for anything more.
All right, moving to the finals of A-Gas right here. Going to be brought to you by Summit, the World Speed Shop. Make sure you go online and get that Summit app downloaded to your phone. It's on Google Play or the App Store. Hey, there is our 2019 champ, the 58 Corvette of Kenneth Phillips.
And Kenneth doing that, don't dry hump over there. Talk about drag racing cool, David. That is some of the baddest parts, some of the suspense building things that goes on, but there is purpose behind that. He's trying to get a feel for this racetrack. Have I made the right decision on my launch RPM? Because as we've said many times, there ain't no driver aids in these hot rods. But I got to say this, Gabriel Burrow coming off of a win at the last race, he would love nothing more than 2 in a row. Kenneth Phillips, by the way, hasn't won one thus far this year, I don't think, if my memory is correct. He needs a win. This is going to be a monumental drag race. 2 very capable drivers, 2 super fast cars. Let's sit back and just listen.
Great drag race right here, and Gabriel Burrow takes the win, making it 2 in a row. And look at all the fans who have stuck around for celebration over there. There you see David Burrow and his wife.
I don't believe David can believe that he's walking out there
he is.
to make sure that light did come on.
He is excited.
Gabriel Burrow, come on out, brother. You might as well get out of that race car. You know, you've had time to think about another win. You've gained another win, 2 in a row. You went for years unable to accomplish this. Cinderella bride story, bridesmaid, whatever you want to call it. Finally, this thing has come together in winning fashion, in double winning fashion. Congratulations yet again, Gabriel Burrow.
Thanks, Mitch. Didn't think we'd be here today. They were all flying all day, and I was like, man, I don't know if we're going to catch them. And then before finals, Kenneth had a lane choice. I was like, man, we don't know, but I knew I cut better lights in the left lane. They didn't, I don't guess. They knew now. So as a hole shot, a big hole shot.
That's one of the bad things about winning is people start to figure out your secrets.
They do, but it's fine. We done good enough in the right lane all day, so I couldn't be happier. John Causey horsepower and everybody here hanging out with us all day. It run flawless and put it in the winner's circle again.
Well, Gabriel, I mean, again, brother, what an effort you've done in building this car this winter, and then the struggles you had with the various motor programs. Finally, Robbie Bird coming on board, him and Jack Mills, these guys helping you out, finally finding your way to John Causey. I mean, this has just been one of the most overwhelming stories. And when you're chunking this thing in high gear and going through the finish line, knowing you're in front and your first win, not to mention your second win, that's got to be an overwhelming feeling of accomplishment.
It was. I thought we was going to go through on a roof. It made a hard left turn in high gear, and I couldn't see him still, so I couldn't quit. So it pushed it through there. We went through the light sideways, I think, but it made it either way. So
I've said in all of my racing career, you never win letting off.
No, you don't. And I knew he was coming hard, but just can't thank Robbie and Jack and Jimmy and John Causey and everybody else that's helped me enough this year, and I'm glad to be here 2 in a row.
All right, Mitch Stock, what an incredible day of drag racing. Over 80 cars, and what an outstanding crowd we had here today at Knoxville Dragway.
I run into Tommy, that owns this thing, and one point he was looking at me like, what are we going to do with all these cars? David, it was the most rewarding event we've ever had here in Knoxville to see the people packing in here, lined up down the road. I made a joke to somebody, they was lined up all the way back to I-40. Of course they wasn't, but I mean, Cody and I went out, we filmed this thing, the traffic coming in here, lined up down both sides of the road. The parking area in this place was full. It was just an ocean of people. What a rewarding thing for SEGA, man, to see that it is undoubtedly growing. And then we get to the competition, David. Holy moly goly, buddy, is all I can say. Congratulations to to Gabriel Burrell and that whole team. 2 in a row, went all these years without a single win. In a roundabout way, was kind of the bridesmaid. He'd go to the finals, but he couldn't clinch it. Now he's got 2 in a row. John Causey Power, Robbie Bird, Jack Mills, David and Pam, his mom and dad. I mean, that team has finally formulated.
Sure have, and when you move to B-Gas, TJ York putting just a stranglehold on that category. 4 wins out of 6 races as the Greenhorn Hillbilly shows its dominance.
I was kind of in a roundabout way prodding him down there in the final round interview. I said, TJ, 4 wins out of 6 races. Sooner or later, Jerry and Joey Birch is going to do something evil and wicked to you because, this kind of started out in the off season. You pointed to them as the car you wanted to beat, and you've done it so convincingly. Jerry and Joey can outrun kind of anybody at any given time. They're always a threat, always there, always in the latter rounds, but for some reason they just can't seem to get around you.
That's true, and Wayne Swafford, he's won the other 2 events. Yeah. So between those 2 guys, they're 1-2 in points, and they were 1-2 here today.
Yeah, and that to me, David, really kind of convinced me that TJ, this is his year because he beat Wayne, and Wayne, of course, has been fast. Wayne was, not to take anything away from Birch's, but Wayne was TJ's most serious threat of recent, and so TJ showed dominance today, putting him on the trailer.
Really did, and we move into C-Gas and the reemergence of Josh Pruitt and the Youngblood. Yeah. Those people really showed up. They've been working hard on that race car, man, and it showed today.
They did. I kind of teased with Josh a little bit. I said, Josh, you're getting older. This Youngblood's going to have to change it to old blood one of these days pretty soon. But congratulations and welcome back. A year-long dry spell, that'll get anybody's spirits down. But this team has persevered. They've worked. They fought. They're back on top. And then, of course, their win came at the expense of Cynthia Phillips in the final round. But Cynthia has nothing to be ashamed of here. She has improved so dramatically in the 2020 season. And today, I think she realized just how much when she was able to put a competitor like Todd Oden on the trailer. She couldn't believe it when she done that.
Well, and she's been to 2 finals already, including this one this year. So that's validation for her improvement as a driver. And you got to think, we got more races to go. She may punch her ticket right here and get a big cup.
I think it's very possible, David. But, we got to go back to Josh Pruitt and the fact that he stopped George Miller and the Miller boys. And of course, George and them boys was just on a tear. That thing was just screaming. And then that was a forward battle, So it just – and as I said to one of the guys down there today, today, Fords are starting to get dominant in all of these gasser classes. I mean, you got A-Gas, Gabriel, you've got C-Gas, you've got Josh, and you've got George, and so it just goes on and on and on. And so I'm happy to see it. Obviously, it's a good mix of performance, and then Superstock is just wide open, man.
It is. Mark Hackett taking another win this year. That's 3 out of 6 for him and increases that points margin for him toward his first world championship.
Well, Mark was joking to me at the start of the day, and he said something other about this engine that he had. It was just kind of spare parts that he threw together, and he hoped they landed in the right place. And I said, obviously they did. But according to him, after his final round win down there interview, this is an old motor, old parts, old pieces. And he'll be stronger than ever when he comes to the next race.
There's no doubt. Mitch, I can't think of a better way to sum up what a great day is when Quayne Stock come up there and he had a smile on his face. And Quayne's not one to put a smile on his face, but Quayne had a smile on his face, and he said, for once, it looks like everything come to fruition here at Knoxville, Tennessee.
Well, we've been coming to Knoxville for 5 or 6 years, as we said in the opening, David. And although this race has worked for us, today, I think that everybody here realized what the future of this race is going to be, which is the old cliche, is so bright we got to wear our shades. And I think that the Knoxville will continue to prove this just super venue for the Southeast Gassers Association. And of course, today, David, we had our ups and downs. Gary Klein, he had a terrible crash at the finish line after winning first round. Car was flying, car was straight. What went wrong, I don't know. Just got into the guardrail on the shutdown area. But Gary's fine. And, whether or not he'll be back, I don't know. But as Gary knows, he's my childhood hero. He was a guy that I used to try to imitate as a kid when we would go to the drag strip, and Gary was there. So, I want Gary to come back, but only if Gary feels he needs to be back.
Well, Mitch, I think that's a very appropriate way to put that. And Gary Klein been a great competitor here, a wonderful man. And I did an interview with him earlier here in the lanes, and he was so complimentary of the crowd today. It almost got him choked up, he said, because he's raced in front of some big crowds, but he said none more emotional and emotionally charged than our Southeast Gasser crowd.
David, when we done a national anthem today, I do not believe there was a single person in the crowd that was not standing at attention, hand over their heart, hand behind their back, perfect respect for this wonderful, God-blessed nation we live in. And just that entire number of people, when you have that kind of a crowd cheering for America and drag racing. And I come to the realization today in talking with another person, David, and I think that I may have come to the true pinnacle of what Southeast Gassers Association is. And I think that it is the last pure form of drag racing on the planet. And I say that because NHRA and that kind of stuff is kind of politically watered down and everything else. You've got all your bracket racing all over the world, but drag racing, pure drag racing, this is the last form of pure drag racing that exists, and I am convinced of that.
Mitch, I don't believe you could be more prophetic, because I'm in a total agreement with you there. First to the finish line, no participation trophies, no buybacks. You got to be a man to or be the man, and not putting anything off on Cynthia, but you got to be the man to crawl to the top of this heap in the Southeast Gassers.
You do, and as we all know, there's no electronics, nothing like that. That's what I say. It is the purest form of drag racing that was ever conceived. When you look up drag racing in the dictionary, this is precisely what it describes. And so I can honestly say I think this is the only form of pure drag racing on the planet. And David, how blessed and fortunate are we to get to be able to stand out here and talk about it, go to every race, watch every race. You get to tell about every race. I get to interview every racer. Just being a part of this thing from day one, it's just another one of God's many blessings.
It is, and let's go ahead and thank him for those blessings right now. I'll be glad to take us out of here. Dear kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for all the blessings that you bestowed upon the Southeast Gassers and its drivers, and your hand of mercy across Gary Klein as he had his unfortunate accident today, Lord, to get him out of that car, and to have him be okay was just nothing short of satisfying for us. Lord, the crowd, we appreciate the fans that you sent our way, for the people of the common mindset that we have for this great nation, and the purest form of drag racing that we could bring to them, a 1960s era race. We thank you most of all for sending your son to die on the cross for our sins. And Lord, we want to always pray for our leaders of this country so they can guide us in the right direction, and so we can make this again one of the proudest nations that we've ever seen in the free world. For it's in your kind and gracious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks once again, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the Southeast Gasser Association Race Recap Series, this time coming to you from Knoxville Dragway in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Hope they won't shoot me down soon.